Hello everyone, my name is MICKALLA Goordeeen and this is my final project presentation in Human Resource Management. I am a final year student at the College of Science, Technology and Applied Arts of Trinidad and Tobago, short for COSTAT, and I am pleased to be presenting to you today. This presentation will exhibit a strategic plan created for COSTAT's Registry Department. I hope you enjoy. So let's jump right in. COSTAT is a tertiary level institution which is equipped and able to create educational opportunities which transforms academically underprepared citizens into meaningful contributors to the national economy. So COSTAT is a community college and they place more emphasis on their students, staff, faculty, and academics as compared to other universities or colleges within Trinidad and Tobago. The mission of COSTAT is to be the premier education institution in providing high quality, affordable, and accessible educational programs, serving the needs of business, industry, and the diverse campus communities, and facilitating the personal and professional development of its students, faculty, and staff. The vision of COSTAT is to be student-centered, dynamic, and innovative, world-class multi-campus college, promoting excellence in teaching and learning, serving diverse communities, and producing lifelong learners who can compete globally. So by competing globally means that the college is accredited internationally, so any certificate, undergraduate degree or postgraduate diploma which is done at COSTAT can be taken outside of Trinidad and Tobago, whether it be regionally or internationally, and be acknowledged as a degree. The core values of COSTAT are to be student-centered and successful, to be transformative, to produce graduates who are well-rounded, and to achieve academic excellence. The stakeholders are the Board of Trustees, the President of the College, upper and lower management, faculty, staff, and students. So a little about the Registry Department. Within COSTAT there is the Registry Department, which is the focal point of the students' work, meaning that students bring their questions, concerns, queries, and problems here throughout the entire academic year, with issues ranging from financial to academic holds, diploma collection, gate queries, or letter and transcript requests. The department also deals with regional students with issues concerning immigration, as well as the creation of payment plans for some students who may need it. The department also does COSTAT ID cards and assists with registering students for classes. The department is also a functional one because they interact with all the academic departments within the college, and they also put together and do the entire graduation process and procedures and everything. So as you can see, the department is a necessity for students and the entire of COSTAT. And there is always a student or a faculty member or a lecturer to assist. This presentation will outline the current issues, the action plan, and the recommendations needed to enhance the department's overall functioning, because as of recent, the COVID-19 pandemic, the department has had some major issues which negatively impacted the management and staff within the department. Recently, as the COVID-19 pandemic continues, the Registry Department has had some major issues which negatively impacted both management and staff within the department. Issue number 1. Throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, the department has not hired any staff and is currently not meeting its output requirements. So during the pandemic, the college incurred major budget cuts from the government, as the college is mainly government funded. They rely heavily on that funding. And due to the budget cuts, the registry department had to absorb most of this budget cut for the entire college, which caused them to terminate their staff. So as they terminated their staff, it caused them to become short staffed. So they are not able to have their usual output during the academic year. Issue number 2. Within the department, the staff is only trained for 1 month on entry to the job, and there is no other training. So when an employee is hired for the registry department, they are only trained to tackle specific procedures for less than a month, and then they are placed into the department. And it is up to them to either sink or swim at what they learn as they use the training given to them within that time frame. This is a major issue because the staff is not trained in every functional area of the department, so there is a tedious runaround to solve student issues because not everyone does everything within the department, and not everyone knows about the specific policies or procedures which must be followed to solve a student's issue depending upon the nature of it. Issue number 3. New policies and procedures are not included into the handbook, and it is only discussed in meetings or emailed to the employees from the head of the department. So within the last 2 years, GATE has a new policy which they implemented where students who are repeating a course must self-pay fully for that course. So the department staff now has to place that student on a repeat list, give them a repeat rule request form to fill out, and that form would state if the student will be paid in full at the end of the semester, at the beginning of the semester, or if they need to see the manager of the department about getting a payment plan. So with these new policies set in place, new and some current employees will not be aware of these new additions because either they are new or they missed the meeting, they were absent from work, and they will not be aware of these new additions due to the handbook not being updated or just due to the lack of communication within the department. Lastly, issue number 4. Within the department, there is a laissez-faire style of management which is creating a more unfriendly nature amongst employees and disrupting and slowing down the entire department. Due to the laid-back style of management in the department, it has created a hostile nature between the employees which makes it difficult to fulfill any task, whether it be individual or team-oriented. So let's say, for instance, a male and a female employee wants to take vacation time for the same period. Their job duties and responsibilities are the same, and there is no one else in the department to perform it if both of them gets the vacation time approved. So this is how it will go. The vacation time will either be given to the employee who has a better relationship with the head of the department, and then the other one will be denied those vacation days simply because of the style of management within the department. The action plan. For the department's enhancement, there will need to be numerous changes, training, and new policy implementation. So we'll be looking at the first slide at the left hand, in the left hand corner. So the first action will be to place staff members from another department into the registry department. So placing staff temporarily on rotation from other departments who are familiar with specific administrative procedures such as filing, organizing, replying to students' queries, problems, or issues, creating letters, creating academic transcripts, will be simple procedures of the registry department. This would be done so that the workflow can be completed as it's so overwhelming for the staff, and it would all the work would be distributed evenly across the board. So this will be done on a monthly basis, giving other departments a fair chance to assist. So every month there will be someone new from another department who comes to assist the employees within the department. This action will be a quick fix in the department being short staffed. Next, employee contract staff. Employee contract staff. So since the department is short staffed, the action would be to hire temporary staff who best fit the job description and focus more on the screening of applicants. So focus more on the recruitment and selection of the applicants so there will be a perfect fit between the department and the future employee, so that there would be less unfriendly natures between the employees, or there would be less hostile natures or situations between the staff in the department. And the reason I said temporary staffing is due to the budget cuts which the registry department always absorbs, and as we all know, there will be more in the future. The next action would be to perform cross-functional training. So this will allow all the employees to learn skills and abilities that are not exercised in their current roles, and in the event that the department is short-staffed, there will not be an unfair workload because all other employees cannot perform a specific function or task. So the training would be done on-site with a biannual timeline, and permanent staff will be trained first, then temporary employees. Next action would be to implement cross-functional training. So to implement this type of training, it will be implemented in two ways. Firstly, through online learning so that each employee can learn at their own pace. However, they will have a 6-week span to learn this. And once this phase is finished, they can each take turns shadowing each other to ensure the task can be completed. So let's say we have employee A who only does letter requests and employee B who only does transcripts. So employee A just got finishing up training with completing transcript requests. So he or she can now shadow employee B for 3 to 5 days in order to see if he or she learned anything from the training, and if he or she is able to now complete a transcript request by themselves. The next action would be to evaluate staff. So all training would be evaluated by the head of the department from firstly a self-assessment questionnaire where the employees are to assess what they learn, how they learn, and what they are still lost on, and then anonymous formal feedback on employees from their co-workers. So this will show the progress or the decline within their knowledge of what they are supposed to do, and then actual job performance would be done every 6 months. Next would be the policy and procedure enhancement or change. So after every policy or procedure enhancement or change, an employee can be tasked to add it to the handbook. So the new changes are officially documented because of us right now. The handbook hasn't been updated within the last 6 years, as I mentioned before. So this will be completed as edits or additions occur and are to be added in the handbook on rotation by each employee. So the workload is distributed fairly. Next action would be to train staff in new policies and procedures. So the entire department would be trained within all the new policies and procedures going forward, so that everybody would be well-rounded and know when this specific issue arises or a student brings this issue to the department, everyone will be able to deal with it. The other one is to create an achievement board. So the entire department would have their overall plan of things to be achieved on top and big and bold, and then below it would be each individual within the registry department, and under their names would have their goals, their things to achieve for a specific period. So this can be seen as constant motivation, self-motivation, and actual actions being done to achieve these goals can be seen, and there can be a huge improvement in productivity and togetherness within the department. The next action would be to have online feedback forms. So the head of the department needs to have open communication with the employees and provide consistent and constructive personal online feedback forms for each employee. So in that way, the employees not only communicate with the head of the department, but the head of the department also tries to connect and communicate properly with their staff. The next action would be corporate social responsibility training. So the employees need to be trained in CSR. So corporate social responsibility is also short for CSR training, which is basically covering the basic principles and methods of social responsibility at the workplace, regardless of the situation. So let's say the employees have a team project that needs to be done by the end of the month. However, 5 of the employees are in a little squabble. With this type of training, they will be able to put this hostile situation aside and complete this task, or they would work through their issues first, come to a conclusion or recommendation, whatever it is, and then complete the project. So in that way, everything is solved. So this training would be done yearly, based on site with all employees. The next action would be to implement a departmental cohesion policy. So a departmental policy will be put in place to ensure that the employees have togetherness. So it will be named departmental cohesion. So this policy would aid in removing the unfriendly nature amongst the employees and disruption and slowing down of the entire department. The last action would be to implement customer service training. So customer service training would be implemented in 2 forms again, for all employees at the same time, both temporary and permanent staff. So firstly, with the online training for a short period of time, and then an instructor-led training by a professional to actually have them train like in a classroom setting, so that the instructor can be seeing what needs to be taught and what was taught already, or what they learned through their online learning. Now I move on to recommendations. For COSTA's Registry Department, I would recommend firstly that the department sets a mission and a vision statement for themselves, which they are bounded by to uphold. Just as a college or any other institution, I think this vision and mission statement would help them to keep up their productivity levels and also assist them in connecting with students. Next, email organizer. So each service would have its own email address so that queries and requests are more organized. So for instance, you would have a transcript request email, you would have a letter request email, you would have a payment plan email, you will have a graduation email. So everything would be separate so that all queries are fulfilled and replied to within a specific time period. The other recommendation is to have a live virtual assistant. So the department can offer live virtual assistant, especially for the registration period. So live virtual assistant is basically, it could be through Zoom, it could be through Skype or Google Meet, so that students would feel a sense of openness from the registry department and that they are willing and able to help with any issues that they may have at that moment. And then throughout the semester, each month, for 3 to 5 days within that month, the department can have these sessions aiding anyone who has issues ranging from any problem, any problems that they have. Once the registry can answer it, it will be done. The next recommendation would be to give a digital copy of certificates. So as of right now, students are only able to collect their hard copy certificates a couple months after graduation, which is very tedious, and some may see it as not fair. So to avoid all of this, students can be issued a digital copy of their certificate if the hard copy is not yet available or ready for pickup or delivery. So this will help everyone's situation, because most employers in today's world mostly requires a soft copy attached with your resume when applying for a job, which is why most of us students really need their certificates. And lastly, separate email. So the department would have a separate email for the registration period. So apart from organizing each request or query email, there would also be a registration email. So it could be registration at costa.edu.tt, and it will be only used for that month period there within the beginning of COSTAT, so that all students would know, okay, this is where we send our concerns and questions regarding registration, or how much credits we are if we are final year students, whatever it may be. This is where they can go. This entire email organization system would be not only easier for the staff and the students, but it will also help the registry department to have a turnover time of less than a day or 2 days maximum, whereas right now it's a week or 7 days or 5 days. The conclusion. So I enjoyed working on this final project as an individual, and instead of a group, which I'm accustomed to, and the guidance which was given throughout every step of the way from my lecturer was so new and breathtaking to me, because I'm not accustomed to that. The main issue I faced was choosing an organization, and this was in the beginning of the semester, because I simply was not sure I could have acquired the information needed for the project. But other than that, everything else was straightforward, and due to the templates and blueprints provided to the entire class, it made it easier. It gave us something that we should follow in order to collect and gather our information on how to put things in place. At the beginning of this plan, I was extremely overwhelmed, because firstly, I was doing 3 other courses, and then due to the amount of work required for this plan and it had to be completed, I was not expecting it. However, as I slowly began to pace myself with the guidance from my lecturer, I was able to stay on track and take my time and not rush. So the entire creation of this plan incorporated numerous aspects which I was not expecting, but I overcame it one by one. I would like to express my special thanks to my lecturer, Miss Ali, who guided me through the entire process of this plan, because without her constant openness as well as direction, I would have not able to finish this on my own. I am also thankful for Mr. Paul of the Registry Department in Costard, who assisted me in the dawn of this project by collecting and gathering data information. And thank you lastly to Ms. Seeley, who is the head of Management and Entrepreneurship Department within COSTAT, for assisting me with the college's core values. And lastly to the girl who immensely aided me in all my questions and queries which I had when I was confused. Thank you for your time and attention, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation.